What's up, agency owners? Jason Swenk here. I have another exciting guest. We're going to talk about clarity, courage, and really how to scale your agency faster, which we all want to know. So let's go ahead and get into it. Hey, Arti, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks, Jason. Thanks for
As
having me.
as I almost fall off my chair.
Well, that's the impact I have usually.
Exactly. I was like, I'm blown away. I fall off the chair. So,
Uh,
tell me a little bit about you, a fun fact, and how you guys got started.
Whoa, fun fact. Like, you know what? My friends tell me I'm very good at kind of a sense of humor. You just saw a glimpse of it. But at the end of the day, I'm usually happy when I'm not working in tough campaigns and project managing. So clearly my funny side comes in when I'm selling. So that's what a recognition that I have had over the last several years. Fun fact about me. I think one of the things that I would say is that if I wasn't running an agency, I would be a Bollywood movie producer, and that's a kind of a burning desire, if you will, and that comes from the fact that your father never let you go to Mumbai when I was raised in India, and back in the day, the girls were not allowed to be in the movies or media world, and now I think it's just kind of a burning desire. So that's a fun fact. And how did I got started? Well, I moved to Canada about 16, 17 years ago, and working for corporate life for almost like 15 years back then, and came back, accidentally landed on registering a domain called measuremarketing.net back in the day, because as a marketer, I felt there was a lot of people talking about marketing, but nobody was measuring it. So there was like, the Yahoo stores were coming up. Brad Fallon was talking about search engine optimization. Stompernet was creating all these conferences, but nobody was talking about measurement and analytics, right? And so one, I still very candidly remember one late night at the corporate office, very frustrated with what was happening in the marketing world, went on to GoDaddy and registered the domain measuremarketing.net. And that's how Measure Marketing was born part time. Knocked on a few, fellas from the previous life and previous corporations and said, "Hey, marketers, I'm ready to go into digital marketing. Can I build you a microsite or a campaign?" And then the rest is history. But very quick story around that. My first client, I had a $24,000 check sitting with their accounting firm, with their accounting department, and they reached out to me and said, "Hey, listen, we don't see a GST number or HST number back in the day on your invoice." And I'm like, "What is the HST number? Like, what do you need?" So I reached out to my CA friend and said, "What is this?" He's like, "Oh, any invoices of the size, you need an HST number." Like, "Oh, darn it. What do I need to do?" Like, "You need to incorporate the company, apply for the HST number within a week." Everything was done, and we were in business. So I had my business, a check sitting and waiting for me before I actually incorporated my
Oh,
company.
that's awesome. I always use the story. I remember that it's funny about the invoice. I remember my first client asked me to send him an invoice. I didn't know what an invoice was.
Well, that's a really funny one, and very courageous too, Jason, isn't it?
Well, I didn't.
Um,
I didn't ask him what an invoice was. I asked my dad because it was before I could Google it or any of it. Like
oh,
none of
I
that was
know.
there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, look what you built. That's crazy.
Exactly. Um, well, tell us a little bit about. Let's talk about kind of clarity. Like you're an accidental
Mhm,
agency owner, like a lot of us, right? Like that's
mhm,
me, probably a lot listening in. How
mhm,
long did it take you to get clarity, and how did you get clarity? Um, because when I look at you know when I go into agencies and I chat with them,
mhm.
and let's say they have a lead generation problem. Well, that lead
Totally.
generation problem really starts at clarity of who they're actually going after, what do they want to be, that kind of stuff.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. You're right. Clarity or re-clarity, I would say. It's just a lot of clarification processes that agency owners have to go in because this world is shifting so much and so fast, right? And when I started the company about 13 years ago, there were not many digital agencies. But now look at it. Like, we're in a crowded space, in a crowded marketplace. How do you differentiate yourself? So, so again, we started as an SEO company, and then we said, you know what, we're really good at web design, and then we became an award-winning web design agency, and then we like, you know what, SEM is one thing that we really are not have to look into. So we became an SEM company. But what really brought us to the clarity level was about 4 or 5 years ago, when I started to kind of say, who exactly are we building? What are we really building for? Not just for ourselves, but for our teams and for our people and whatnot. And even then, the only clarity that we got was, what is our mission? And I looked into my personal mission as a human being and said, what am I on this planet for? What am I going to be leaving this world? And what is my personal mission? And how does this translate into Measure Marketing's mission as well? Are they aligned or not? Right. So that was the first. We came up with a mission statement. So our mission statement hasn't changed, which is to influence, inspire, and impact overarchingly all the stakeholders that we have in the organization, our customers, our vendors, and our partners, and our people. Having said that, that clarity just kind of stopped, because you have other agency problems. You have team that you got to build, you got people, you got customers to bring in, you got to bring the sales. And when you're really small at that size, 500,000, you really don't know where to spend your money in, right? So as a company, we were more like a digital marketing and an SEO company. Then we became a digital marketing company, and then we're like, you know what? We really thrive being an inbound marketing agency, and we have a lot of business marketing operations experience. So we really need to be serving in a full funnel. And that's when that clarity happened. I think we needed then the money to be that agency, because we need to bring in the right skill set to the company. We needed to bring in and approach with the lead generation strategies to the right kind of customers. And how do we do that? So again, I think right before pandemic hit, uh, January, I gathered the entire team. At that time, we were about 5 people here in Toronto, and we have a global team, by the way. So we're about a team of 23 right now. We're a little bit top heavy on our resources, just because we like to serve our customers really well. So January of 2020, 2020, I think we did a full day session. We had some amazing team members bring in their ideas, and we worked on our vision script. And that was inspired by Michael Hyatt's vision script. He said he talks a lot about the vision script, and I said, vision statement is one thing, but to distill that vision statement into a complete script of how are we going to operate based on what our mission is, and based on where the vision is, and how will we, I would say, inspect ourselves against that vision and everything that we do, the way we hire, the way we operate, the way we conduct our huddles, the way we service our customers, the way we onboard, the way we do anything and everything in our sales and marketing even, right? So that's where the vision script really played a big role. And that is just right before the pandemic. Guess what? No better timing. Um, and the timing was maybe not that right, or it was right. I don't know. But the fact that we had clarity, we actually navigated through the pandemic, serving our customers at the highest level that we can, and built a niche and serviced the niche and developed another niche during that time. So that was the best thing that happened to our agency, unfortunately, under these circumstances, that it kind of distilled either fear or gave us more courage, or I'm not sure what happened. But that somehow, when I look back, was basically the fire in the belly kind of and that push that we needed as an agency to think differently, to think outside the box, and actually live our mission in daily actions. Go and do the work that we really needed to do, again, in our daily actions to meet that vision. And we're not there yet. I mean, we're still working hard. But what came out of that was that we became a HubSpot partner. We became a Rollworks partner. We moved from SEO and SEM to become more account-based marketing and sales enablement company. We're now doing the full funnel marketing, if you will. And to tell you the truth, we've actually built another agency for agencies, which is called SMG Media, and it's going to be an agency if you really want to farm out and you don't have the resource and you really want to scale. We have done outsourcing so well and built a team and an office in India and in Philippines that we're now ready to take on and work with agencies who really want to outsource some of their HubSpot, paid search, social, anything under digital and inbound marketing, essentially. So I'm really excited for that model that has emerged out of the pandemic and
Very
that
cool.
clarity.
Talk a little bit more about, rather than a vision statement and having a
Mhm.
script, right? Like if someone's
Yeah.
listening, they probably have some questions about that.
Yeah, so vision statement is essentially, you have an overarching statement, if you will. And then a vision script is essentially going in and saying who our customers are going to be. What kind of team members are we going to attract? So writing each and everything down and say our customers are going to be in these specific niche markets. They will have these pain points. We are going to serve them at this level. We are going to impact their businesses and their growth. This is how we're going to do it. So we literally distilled it down because that was a much needed clarity we needed, because that is going to impact our processes, our systems, and also our sales scripts, and even where are we going to find these customers, and our partnerships. Because one thing that came out of the vision script was that we really needed to align ourselves. Either we build products and tools and go after go to market strategy would be through products and tools, or else we align ourselves with some leading edge premium products and tools such as HubSpot, such as Rollworks or Demandbase and Tremendous, to kind of go and work alongside of those partners, leverage some of their materials and marketing collaterals to expedite and accelerate our go to market strategy in this new world of inbound marketing, right? So the vision script is essentially what your core values are, what's your vision to be in 2 years, 3 years, and 4 years, and then 10 years, and what are the big action items each year you're going to do, one thing each year that you're going to move towards to move that needle forward, right? And I think move towards that vision. So in that case, distilling that down, but it doesn't stop here, Jason. The problem many companies would have is that the vision is just at the top management tier. The CEO, the directors would know it. What we did was in January, when we crafted that vision, we actually held a 2-hour session. We brought an entire company in there. We talked about our vision. We took your questions and answers. We gave examples of what that customer could look like. How will that impact you as a service delivery team? Or how would that impact as a client success team? How would that impact the project management team? And then what is the impact you're going to have if you do these things right towards achieving that vision? So there was a little bit more buy-in from the team members, right? Because one thing that I struggled as an agency owner is to bring in the right team members, no problem, but to meet their vision and your company's vision, and then avoid that churn on your team, right? So how do you kind of create that engagement within your teams as well is very important. Um,
Yeah,
mhm,
yeah, I always, I love that. And whenever I see agencies do that, including,
mhm.
when we did this, there was always some people on the team that just don't like change. And they're, how can I say, they're the dream squashers
I
of
say they rob you of your energy. They're,
exactly.
they're, they're vampires of your energy and your vision.
Exactly. And, I always tell people, like, well, you'll see when you actually present and you do all this, they're the ones that will kind of hide in the corner, that won't be engaged. Or if they do kind of be engaged with you after. What did you do? Did you have any of those?
Of course, yeah, no. There are people who would probably, I wouldn't say they're vampires. I think they have a different vision. Okay, so they want to go to space, but a different space shuttle. Okay, and I want to go on a different space shuttle, and I am the Elon Musk troop, and you're kind of going a different troop. I'm not sure, Richard Branson maybe. So the point I'm making is, at the end of the day, you got to find good people who are on your team. They're aligned with your vision. They understand your vision. As an owner, as a visionary of your company, if you are the owner and the visionary, you can't let your vision be distorted by other people's opinions of that vision. You got to have that clarity. You got to stick to your guns and say, this is the vision that we're going to go after. And then you got to show them the vision and show them how they can contribute and what is in it for them. Right. And at that point, if they still don't get it, then they got to find the different space shuttle to get to space, right? And they're not on the bus with you, or they're not on the seat with you. And unfortunately, we did have some people. We felt, I felt a little, I'll be honest with you, taken aback, because this individual was really important in establishing that vision. But at the end of the day, they didn't give it enough time, because what happens is sometimes your team members may contribute to that vision, but they want that vision to take place like at a snap of a finger. I think changing your vision, changing the trajectory of your company does take some time. And those who really do know what it takes will stay with you throughout that process, because it's like a ship. It's not like a race car. You just got to turn around, change the gear, and turn around. It's a ship that you're sailing, and you got to turn the ship. You know how much time it takes to turn the ship? That's how much time it takes to change the trajectory of your agency. I mean, you can do it faster. There are better ways. You need the funds, you need the people, you need the right people on the bus, and a whole lot. And I learned a lot through that process. So when I said we're heavy top of the funnel right now, and our employee base, it's because we really want to kind of move that ship faster, and we're investing and injecting back into the business quite a bit.
I love it. One of the things I tell our mastermind members whenever we talk about kind of employees or your team members, and I say,
Mhm.
let's say you go over your vision and you guys
Mhm.
are charging, you're on that space shuttle, you're going, and I'm like, well, if someone on your team came to you and they said, I don't want on this space shuttle, I want to resign, would you be happy or sad? And if the answer is you're happy, you need to hit the ejector button really quick, get them out of the space shuttle, send them down into a submarine under the water because they might be happy, under the water rather than in space. So I love kind of the process that you went through, and I think too many agency owners kind of skip through it. Right, we're accidental.
Yeah,
We just think, let me focus on leads, let me focus on sales. Then they take their eye off what can actually elevate them, which is knowing that perfect prospect, knowing that perfect, strategic partner, knowing that perfect employee or team member. In order, like, there's so many different things before you get to, the prospecting. Even though to start a business, you need some clients. So, but I
of
love it.
course.
Is
Yeah,
there?
but Jason, this doesn't happen. Sorry to interject. This didn't happen with me, and I can't take all the credit here. Okay, I really heavily invested in finding my mentors. I did actually invest in a 1 year program with Michael Hyatt. I went into the Sandler Leadership Program. Then my team went into that program. I read a whole lot of books. I was listening to your podcast, as I mentioned to you just before the show. Like, I've been an avid listener to the podcast. I've been listening to all the stories that people have shared. I've picked up a lot from there. I've kind of created programs around what I've heard other agency owners talk about. And at that time, I didn't have the money to be in your mastermind. I'll be honest with you. Or maybe I didn't have the inclination, and I thought that I could do it all. Right? Sometimes you're full of yourself too, and and at that time, I actually reached out. Thankfully, I reached out to one of my amazing mentor out of Virginia, and he was very giving. He actually asked me and said, "You got to work on your clarity. You really do want to you need to who's your number two, who's your right team, how do you build a culture in the company, how do you invest in onboarding and creating a niche." And I was so much against that niche marketing because I was a marketer at heart. I'm like, I don't want to kind of curb my creativity. But ever since we've niched down, there are people on the team who don't like it, but they have to be roped back in from time to time to say, hey, without niching down, we're not going to scale. At the end of the day, we all want out at some point, or want to be part of this number one inbound marketing agency in North America. How do we do that? So you have a better idea, bring it on. And I think it just doesn't happen alone. You got to surround yourself with the right people, brainstorm, test, try, fail, and succeed. Like, I'm not going to say that I've like it's been 13 years, right? So I got it right only in last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, and it just keep getting better. And whenever I
It
look back
does.
at previous years, I'm like, oh, I can't believe I did that. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
right, like it's a constant learning thing, and you should always be, investing in yourself, investing in your team, for getting to that vision of what you ultimately want. So I love it. Well, is there anything I didn't ask you that you think would benefit the audience listening in?
Yeah, so I think what you didn't ask me was investing in the team portion of it, and at what stage do company owners, think beyond themselves. I think you got to identify 3 or 4 people in your team who are going to be a long haul players, and you're ready to take the risk with them. They're ready to take the risk with you, and then you go back and invest back in them. And I think we've done that. My team just wrapped up a leadership program, 3 of them, and we're now building a management team. We're ready to go 10x. But I think it's about investing back in your people, in your processes, in your systems, and then sales will come through, and then you'll be able to retain those customers really well.
I love it. Well, what's the website people can go and check out the agency site?
Yeah, sure. It's called www.measuremarketing.com.
I love it. I always make fun of people that say WW because you just show your age, like, and you're younger than me, so
Well, you know what? I just gave it away. 15 years of corporate life and 13 years of an agency. I think people can guess my age. That's fine.
I always love it. I'm like, I know I'm talking to people around my age when they go WW. I'm like,
Well, I got to tell you, I've seen the age of Microsoft DOS to AI. I've seen everything in between,
oh yeah,
So,
I remember the 5.5 floppies
oh my
to the
God,
three and a
those floppy
half.
disks. Wow.
Yes.
Well, you're definitely taking the lead on that one from me.
Oh yeah,
So,
I'm definitely a lot. I'm older, but well,
oh,
awesome. Well,
thank
everyone,
you.
go check out the website, and thanks so much for listening. If you like this episode, make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you comment, and if you want to be around other amazing agency owners where we can see the things that you might not be able to see, and really push and challenge you, and really invest in yourself, I would love for all of you to go to digitalagencyelite.com. And until next time, have a swank day.